the unsolved mystery of the Putney Bridge jogger. The case of the Putney Bridge jogger remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in recent London history. Despite clear and viral CCTV footage, police efforts, and public outcry, the man responsible for pushing a woman into the path of an oncoming bus has never been found. More than 4 years have passed since the disturbing incident, yet no one has been able to bring the jogger to justice. On a seemingly ordinary morning in May 2017, a woman was walking along the pedestrian walkway of Putney Bridge in London when an unknown male jogger, moving in the opposite direction, suddenly and forcefully pushed her into the road. The attack appeared to be completely unprovoked. The woman fell backward directly into the path of a double-decker bus that was approaching at high speed. In a split-second reaction, the bus driver swerved just in time to avoid a fatal collision, a move that likely saved the woman's life. The bus stopped immediately, and concerned passengers rushed out to help the victim. Meanwhile, the jogger continued running as though nothing had happened, showing no sign of stopping or acknowledging his actions. Bizarrely, about 15 minutes after the incident, the same jogger was seen jogging on the opposite side of the bridge. The woman, still in shock from the near-death experience, confronted him. However, he simply ignored her and kept running, behaving as if he had no idea who she was or what she was talking about. This eerie behavior, along with the randomness of the attack, made the case even more unsettling. CCTV footage of the incident quickly spread across the internet and news outlets, triggering a wave of public outrage. People were shocked by the apparent coldness and lack of remorse shown by the jogger. The footage was clear enough to show the suspect's build, clothing, and general facial structure, but despite extensive police efforts, identifying him proved to be an impossible task. Throughout the investigation, authorities arrested multiple individuals in connection with the attack. However, each of these potential suspects was eventually released without charge after further investigation. The police spent a year reviewing CCTV footage, interviewing witnesses, and examining over 50 people of interest, yet none of these efforts led to a definitive suspect. As time went on and the leads ran dry, the police ultimately made the difficult decision to close the case in 2018. A police spokesperson explained that every reasonable line of inquiry had been pursued and that without new information, the investigation could not proceed further. The statement noted that should any new evidence come to light, the case could be reopened, but for now, it would remain unresolved. The fact that such a brazen attack, captured on high-quality surveillance footage in broad daylight, could go unsolved is deeply unsettling. Many theories have been put forward about the identity and motives of the jogger. Some believe he could be a person with severe issues acting out of an unexplained impulse. Others speculate that he may have been under the influence of substances, unaware of his own actions. There is even the possibility that he deliberately sought out an opportunity to cause harm, knowing that he could escape without consequences. The biggest question, however, is how he has managed to evade justice for so long. The lack of resolution in this case raises concerns about the limitations of law enforcement, even in a highly monitored city like London. Despite the extensive presence of CCTV cameras and the efforts of law enforcement, a man who was clearly seen committing an act of unprovoked violence has simply vanished. Some believe that he may not even be from the area and that he could have been visiting from another city or even another country. If he left London shortly after the incident, it would explain why no one has come forward with a definitive identification. For the woman who was nearly killed that day, the impact must have been immense. A random attack like this, with no explanation or resolution, can leave deep scars. Knowing that the person responsible is still out there, walking freely, only adds to the trauma. Many in the public feel a sense of unease, wondering if such an attacker could strike again under similar circumstances. Though the case has officially been closed, it remains open-ended in the minds of those who followed it closely. The jogger may have thought he could get away with it, and so far, he has. However, in a world where digital evidence lasts forever and new investigative techniques continue to emerge, there remains a chance that someday his identity will be uncovered. Until that happens, the Putney Bridge jogger remains an enduring mystery, one that serves as a chilling reminder of how easily someone can disappear, even in an age of constant surveillance. The mysterious Qamar Daban incident. The Qamar Daban incident remains one of the most mysterious and unsettling hiking tragedies in modern history. On August 5, 1993, 6 hikers lost their lives under unexplained circumstances in the Qamar Daban mountain range in Russia. The group, consisting of 7 members, was led by an experienced hiking instructor, Lyudmila Korovina. The only survivor, Valentina Utachenko, provided a harrowing account of the final moments of her companions, but even her testimony has not been able to fully explain what happened on that fateful day. Despite a report being made to the authorities, no formal search was conducted until August 24th. By then, helicopters were dispatched to locate the missing hikers, but it took 2 days to find their remains. Utachenko, in shock and suffering from exposure, was unable to provide details of the tragedy until after she was rescued. When the bodies were finally discovered, the scene left rescuers with more questions than answers. The hikers had died in a manner that defied logic, displaying symptoms that pointed to a sudden and violent demise. According to Utachenko, the group was descending the mountain when the horror began. At an altitude of 2,300 meters, one of the hikers, Krisin, suddenly started screaming. His eyes and ears were bleeding, foam was coming from his mouth, and his body convulsed uncontrollably. He collapsed to the ground and went still. Korovina, the leader of the group, rushed to help him, but within moments suffered the same fate, convulsing and collapsing on top of him. Filipenko, another member of the group, also succumbed, clawing at her throat as if struggling to breathe. In a disturbing turn, she crawled to a nearby rock and repeatedly bashed her head against it before going limp. The remaining members, Zalesova and Bapanov, were overcome with terror and attempted to run. However, they too succumbed to the unknown force, collapsing mid-run while vomiting blood and ripping their clothes off. Utachenko and another hiker, Shvachkin, tried to flee in another direction, but Shvachkin soon collapsed and suffered violent convulsions before dying. Left alone and terrified, Utachenko managed to endure the ordeal, later finding shelter and eventually being discovered alive. When the rescuers, Valery Tatarnikov and Vladimir Zinov, arrived at the scene, they ruled out hypothermia as a possible cause of death. The hikers had been well prepared for the conditions, and their symptoms did not align with a slow death from exposure. The circumstances of their deaths seemed more akin to poisoning, though no definitive evidence could explain what had happened to them. One theory suggests that the hikers might have stumbled upon a Russian military experiment being conducted in the mountains and were silenced to protect a secret operation. However, this theory has been largely dismissed due to the location of the incident. The Qamar Daban mountain range is a public area frequently visited by hikers, making it an unlikely site for clandestine military tests. The idea that the group had encountered something so dangerous that it needed to be covered up remains speculative at best. Another theory proposes that the hikers may have been exposed to nerve agents. The symptoms described by Utachenko, including convulsions, foaming at the mouth, and difficulty breathing, closely resemble those caused by powerful nerve toxins. Such agents can cause respiratory distress, cardiac arrest, and even spontaneous bruising of the lungs, all of which were noted in the hikers' post-mortem examinations. If they had unknowingly wandered into an area contaminated by nerve gas, whether from a previous military test or some other unknown source, it could explain their violent reactions and sudden deaths. Some researchers have also considered natural explanations. The group may have ingested toxic mushrooms or other poisonous substances without realizing it. However, this does not fully explain the rapid and dramatic manner in which they perished. Others have suggested a release of toxic gases from underground sources, such as a sudden burst of carbon monoxide or other harmful fumes, though there is no direct evidence supporting this theory. Ultimately, the Qamar Daban incident remains unresolved. The official cause of death was listed as hypothermia, but this explanation fails to account for the horrifying symptoms witnessed by Utachenko. The possibility of poisoning, whether accidental or deliberate, lingers as one of the more plausible causes. Without conclusive evidence, however, the case remains open to speculation. The tragedy of the Qamar Daban hikers continues to haunt those who study unexplained mysteries. The strange circumstances of their deaths, the absence of any clear cause, and the survivors' chilling account all contribute to the enigma. Despite various theories and extensive investigations, no definitive answers have ever been found. To this day, the incident remains one of the most perplexing and chilling mysteries in the world of outdoor survival and unexplained deaths. The mystery of the Lake Baikal humanoids. In the late 1980s, Russian Navy divers were conducting routine training exercises in Lake Baikal, the world's deepest and oldest lake located in Siberia. However, what they discovered during one of their dives was anything but routine. Several of the divers reported encountering strange humanoid creatures, sparking intense interest and speculation about what they had seen. Siberia, a region in Russia, has been a long-standing site of reported UFO and extraterrestrial encounters for many generations. Among the notable locations in Siberia where such phenomena have been observed is Lake Baikal. This vast body of water is renowned for its unique ecosystem that harbors a multitude of rare species. The swimmers of Lake Baikal at one point instilled fear in Russian Navy divers, showcasing immense strength that tragically resulted in the deaths of 3 divers due to decompression sickness. The Lake Baikal swimmers refer to a peculiar and mysterious group of aquatic humanoid beings that came into contact with Russian naval divers in the year 1982, creating a sense of intrigue and wonder. This intriguing encounter occurred amidst a routine military diving operation at the depth of 50 meters, equivalent to 164 feet, when the divers were suddenly intrigued by an unusual presence sharing the waters with them. The divers documented observations of beings with a human-like appearance whose elongated bodies measured up to 3 meters or 9 feet long. Beyond their sheer size, the divers found other evidence indicating that the entities they came across were extraterrestrial in nature. These humanoid creatures were unlike anything seen on Earth, sparking intrigue and speculation about their origin and purpose. The depicted entities were characterized by their silver outlines, with certain entities adorned with see-through orbs atop their heads. These orbs have been likened to the appearance of an unfolded umbrella positioned above the creatures' heads. This description portrays a detailed depiction of the figures, emphasizing the distinct features that set them apart. After the divers emerged from the depths of Lake Baikal, they promptly relayed their astonishing discovery to a commanding officer. In response, the commander instructed the divers to plunge back into the icy waters and capture one of these mysterious aquatic beings. 7 brave divers descended into the lake once more, coming face to face with the mysterious Lake Baikal swimmers, who exhibited extraordinary strength by forcefully propelling the Soviet divers back to the surface. This remarkable encounter not only showcased the resilience of the divers, but also underscored the uncanny abilities of these elusive underwater creatures dwelling in the depths of Lake Baikal. Inadequate availability of decompression chambers along the shore resulted in a tragic situation where all 7 divers could not be accommodated, leaving 3 divers unfortunate enough to succumb to decompression sickness, also known as caisson disease or the bends. This unfortunate incident marked a deadly turn in the efforts to reach out to the Lake Baikal swimmers. The lack of resources to address decompression needs exposed the divers to the fatal consequences of their descent into the depths. Nikolai Kiriv, a resident fisherman in the quaint village of Kultuk, has recently shared an intriguing anecdote with local historians, recounting an unforgettable fishing expedition from the 1990s. As described by Kiriv, during a nocturnal fishing excursion with his companions, a remarkable and mystifying sight unfolded before their eyes. Allegedly, as they engaged in their fishing activities under the cover of night, they were astounded to witness strange occurrences in the tranquil waters of the lake. In the vast expanse of Lake Baikal, the fishermen faced a deep sense of fear when encountering mysterious creatures that threatened to overturn their boats, plunging them into the icy depths. Desperately attempting to ensnare one of these mysterious silver beings by casting expansive nets into the frigid waters, the crew soon retreated back to the safety of the shore, shaken by the eerie encounter. This unsettling experience left an indelible mark on their psyches, dissuading them from ever venturing back to that particular area of Lake Baikal. In addition to the mentioned evidence, there exists a folklore tale revolving around a native farmer who recounted a narrative to a traveler regarding mythical pharaohs residing in the lake area. As per the folklore, these lake-dwelling pharaohs were believed to have caused the sinking of a boat, prompting the villagers to take action by casting nets into the waters and successfully hauling approximately 50 of these pharaohs onto the shore. This folklore not only adds a touch of mystique to the local legends, but also illustrates the deep-rooted beliefs and customs prevalent among the villagers in that region. In ancient folklore, the beings known as pharaohs were believed to possess a human-like appearance with heads, arms, hands, and legs, yet they also had paws and a fishtail. Legend has it that the villagers resorted to whipping these pharaohs with birch rods and then casting them back into the depths of the lake. This act of punishment was not just physical, it carried a powerful symbolic message. Following the severe beating, the pharaohs vanished from the land, never to be seen again. The reports in question regarding the existence of humanoid entities have never received official confirmation or denial from the government. These accounts have sparked a significant amount of speculation and intrigue within the paranormal community. Various theories have emerged to explain the origins of these humanoids. Some speculate that they might have been the outcome of clandestine experiments conducted by the government. On the other hand, alternative perspectives propose that these entities could potentially be extraterrestrial in nature, originating from outer space, or possibly remnants of an ancient civilization long lost in the annals of history. The mystery of Gloria Ramirez. Gloria Cecilia Ramirez became known as the Toxic Lady due to a bizarre and unsettling medical incident that took place in 1994. Her case remains one of the strangest medical mysteries in modern history, leaving both scientists and medical professionals baffled. The unusual circumstances surrounding her death and the illness that affected multiple hospital workers continue to be a subject of speculation, debate, and investigation. On the evening of February 19, 1994, Ramirez, a 31-year-old woman suffering from late-stage cervical cancer, was rushed to the emergency room at Riverside General Hospital in California. She was experiencing severe symptoms, including an abnormally rapid heartbeat, dangerously low blood pressure, and difficulty breathing. As doctors and nurses worked to stabilize her condition, they quickly realized that something was not normal. A strange, oily sheen covered Ramirez's skin, and some of the staff members detected a peculiar garlic-like odor coming from her body. Additionally, when a nurse attempted to draw blood, she noticed that Ramirez's blood had a strong ammonia-like smell. What happened next only deepened the mystery. As medical staff continued to treat Ramirez, several of them suddenly fell ill. A total of 23 emergency room workers began experiencing symptoms such as dizziness, nausea, muscle spasms, and shortness of breath. 3 of them became so sick that they lost consciousness, and 5 required hospitalization. One staff member, Dr. Julie Gorczynski, experienced such severe symptoms that she had to be placed in the intensive care unit for 2 weeks. The medical team was forced to evacuate the emergency room and continue treating Ramirez with a skeleton crew. Unfortunately, despite their efforts, she was pronounced dead just 45 minutes after arriving at the hospital. The immediate assumption was that some kind of toxic chemical had been released in the emergency room, affecting those in close proximity to Ramirez. However, despite extensive testing, no definitive explanation emerged. Initially, some suggested that the incident was a case of mass hysteria brought on by anxiety and stress among the hospital workers. While psychological factors may have played a role, this explanation did not account for the serious physical symptoms suffered by multiple individuals, particularly Dr. Gorczynski, who developed long-term medical issues. A later investigation conducted by Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory proposed a controversial theory. According to their findings, Ramirez had been self-medicating with dimethyl sulfoxide, a chemical compound that was sometimes used as a home remedy for pain relief. Dimethyl sulfoxide is known to have a garlic-like smell, which was consistent with the odor described by medical staff. The lab suggested that when paramedics provided Ramirez with oxygen during transport, it may have reacted with the dimethyl sulfoxide in her system, converting it into dimethyl sulfate, a highly toxic compound that could explain the symptoms experienced by hospital workers. While this theory provided a possible explanation, many experts in the field remained skeptical. Transforming dimethyl sulfoxide into dimethyl sulfate inside the human body would require a complex series of chemical reactions, and there was no precedent for such a transformation occurring naturally. Critics pointed out that breaking and reforming the necessary chemical bonds would typically require external factors such as heat and laboratory conditions. No biological process was known to facilitate this kind of transformation in vivo, leaving many researchers unconvinced. The lack of a clear explanation has led to numerous alternative theories about what might have happened that night in the emergency room. Some have speculated that Ramirez may have been exposed to an unknown toxic substance before arriving at the hospital. Others have suggested that she may have been involved in an illegal chemical experiment, or that the hospital staff unknowingly came into contact with a hazardous contaminant unrelated to Ramirez herself. None of these theories, however, have been conclusively proven. Despite years of research and debate, the case of Gloria Ramirez remains unresolved. It stands as one of the most perplexing medical incidents in history, a chilling reminder that even with modern science, there are still mysteries that defy explanation. To this day, no single theory fully accounts for all aspects of the event, leaving the true cause of Ramirez's toxic effect on those around her a subject of enduring intrigue and speculation. The mystery of Bryce Laspisa. Bryce Laspisa's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing and heartbreaking missing person cases in recent memory. 11 years have passed since his car was found wrecked near Castaic Lake, yet no trace of him has ever been found. The mystery surrounding his final movements and what truly happened to him continues to haunt both investigators and his loved ones. On August 30th, 2013, Bryce, a 19-year-old college student, vanished without a trace. He had been driving home from Sierra College near Sacramento to Orange County, where his parents lived. The circumstances leading up to his disappearance paint a concerning picture. He had been struggling with personal issues, including a breakup with his girlfriend and reported substance use. According to his former roommate, Bryce had partied hard in the past, leading to his eviction from their dorm the year before. However, his friends and family never imagined that he would simply vanish into thin air. The timeline of his final known hours is filled with strange behavior. Bryce's parents reported him missing on August 29th after he failed to arrive at their home as expected. Law enforcement later found him parked on a roadside near Bakersfield at around 8 in the evening. They searched his car but found no drugs or alcohol. Despite his unusual behavior, officers did not take him into custody or force him to go home. Instead, he was left to continue his journey, which would end in an even greater mystery. Later that night, Bryce made a final call to his parents at around 2 in the morning on August 30th. He told them he was driving south on the 5 freeway, but he was uncertain about his exact location. His mother, worried but unaware of the full extent of his distress, assumed he would be home soon, but Bryce never called again, and when morning came, his parents grew increasingly anxious. Hours later, authorities discovered Bryce's crashed car near Castaic Lake. The vehicle had gone down an embankment, landing on its side with no sign of Bryce inside or nearby. His wallet, phone, and other belongings were still in the car, suggesting that he had not intended to leave permanently. However, there were no footprints leading away from the scene, and despite extensive searches, nothing was ever found. The discovery of the wreckage only deepened the mystery rather than providing any closure. In the years since his disappearance, numerous theories have emerged about what may have happened to Bryce. Some believe he may have succumbed to the elements or met with foul play, while others speculate that he may have walked away voluntarily to start a new life. His parents have remained dedicated to finding him, never giving up hope that he might still be alive somewhere. However, without new evidence, the case remains as baffling today as it was in 2013. As the years pass, Bryce's disappearance remains an open wound for his family and friends. Despite extensive searches, public appeals, and countless theories, no concrete answers have surfaced. His case continues to serve as a haunting reminder of how a person can seemingly vanish without explanation, leaving only unanswered questions in their wake. The mysterious disappearance of Joanna Lopez. Joanna Lopez remains one of the most mysterious missing persons cases in Chicago's history, with her story largely unknown beyond the eerie broadcasts that aired on local television in 1989 and 1991. Her disappearance has sparked speculation, internet investigations, and a growing desire to uncover the truth behind the strange circumstances surrounding her case. Despite the passage of time, her identity and fate remain elusive, and no verifiable information about her existence beyond these broadcasts has been uncovered. The first known public appearance of Joana Lopez's missing person notice occurred on January 14, 1989. It was broadcast on Channel 5, a local Chicago news station, in a highly unusual format. Typically, missing person announcements feature spoken descriptions or some form of narration, yet in this case, there was only a silent, grainy black and white image of Joana Lopez. The screen displayed her picture along with a phone number to call for information. However, the poor quality of the photograph made it nearly impossible to make out any defining facial features. The broadcast lasted approximately 20 seconds before the station signed off, leaving viewers in confusion. What made this case even more bizarre was the fact that 2 years later, on January 14, 1991, the same missing person broadcast appeared once again. This time, the quality of the image was slightly better, but the same eerie silence accompanied the display. The background was a pre-recorded video of the national anthem, similar to how it had aired in 1989. The channel once again signed off shortly after Joana's picture appeared. There were no updates, no additional information, and no indication as to whether any progress had been made in finding her. The strange repetition of the broadcast only deepened the mystery. Over the years, amateur internet investigators have attempted to piece together information regarding Joana Lopez. Reddit users and online sleuths have attempted to enhance the quality of her picture, analyzing it for any clues. However, no official missing persons records have been found under her name in the Chicago Police Department's archives, leading many to question whether she was ever officially reported missing. People have tried calling the number displayed on the broadcast, but no responses or leads have surfaced. Some theorists speculate that she may have been part of a larger undisclosed case, while others believe she was a victim of a system failure that allowed her case to slip through the cracks. One of the most unsettling aspects of Joana Lopez's case is the absence of any additional information about her existence. Most missing person cases have some form of paper trail, be it police reports, news coverage, or statements from friends and family members. Yet, with Joana Lopez, nothing seems to exist beyond those 2 eerie television broadcasts. No family members have come forward, and no further updates have been made public. This lack of records has led some to question whether she was a real person at all, or if her case was part of an elaborate hoax. Despite the theories, no concrete evidence has emerged to explain Joana Lopez's disappearance or confirm her identity. The repeated television broadcasts remain the only trace of her known to the public. Some believe that she may still be missing, lost in an unsolved case that was quietly forgotten over time. Others suspect a deeper, more unsettling explanation, that her case was mishandled or deliberately erased from records for unknown reasons. To this day, the mystery of Joana Lopez continues to captivate those who stumble across her story. With no further information and no answers to be found, the eerie television broadcasts remain a haunting reminder of a case that may never be solved. Whether Joana Lopez is still missing, found, or lost to time, her unexplained disappearance remains one of the strangest and most perplexing mysteries in Chicago's history. The mysterious clearing where nothing grows. Deep within the Hoia Baciu forest in Romania lies a peculiar clearing known as Poiana Rotunda. This mysterious, circular patch of land has baffled researchers and intrigued locals for centuries, as nothing grows within its boundaries. Unlike the dense and twisted trees that surround it, Poiana Rotunda remains eerily barren, untouched by time and nature. The strange phenomenon has given rise to countless legends and theories, with many believing that the clearing is haunted or serves as a hotspot for unexplained activity. The forest itself is well known for its unsettling reputation. The forest has been associated with strange occurrences, including ghostly apparitions, bizarre lights, unexplained disappearances, and an unusual amount of electromagnetic energy. However, Poiana Rotunda stands out as one of its most perplexing anomalies. For hundreds of years, locals have whispered about the clearing, warning that those who enter it may never return. Some believe that supernatural forces are at work, while others claim that the clearing serves as a portal or a site of extraterrestrial activity. Many residents of the surrounding area refuse to set foot in the clearing, fearing the consequences of venturing into what they believe to be a cursed place. Stories have circulated about shepherds who led their flocks into Poiana Rotunda, only to vanish without a trace. Others who have dared to step inside report an overwhelming feeling of unease, as if they are being watched by an unseen presence. Some claim to have experienced dizziness, nausea, and sudden bursts of anxiety upon entering the clearing, while others have described hearing disembodied voices or seeing shadowy figures lurking just beyond the tree line. The electromagnetic energy detected in Poiana Rotunda has been another source of fascination and concern. Researchers who have visited the site have recorded unusual fluctuations in energy levels, leading some to speculate that the clearing could be a natural energy vortex. These findings have fueled theories that the clearing may be connected to a larger network of unexplained energy hotspots across the globe. Some have even suggested that the electromagnetic disturbances could be responsible for the paranormal experiences reported by visitors. One of the most compelling aspects of Poiana Rotunda is its strong association with UFO sightings. Over the years, numerous reports have emerged describing strange lights hovering above the clearing, moving in ways that defy conventional aircraft capabilities. Witnesses have recounted seeing glowing orbs, spinning discs, and even humanoid figures appearing and disappearing within the clearing's boundaries. The frequency and consistency of these sightings have led some UFO researchers to believe that Poiana Rotunda may be a landing site for extraterrestrial visitors. In 1968, the forest gained international attention when a military technician, Emil Barnier, captured a series of photographs depicting a metallic, disc-shaped object flying above the forest. His images remain some of the most famous UFO photographs ever taken, further cementing the forest's reputation as a place of unexplained phenomena. Many researchers have drawn connections between Barnier's sighting and the countless other reports of unidentified flying objects over Poiana Rotunda. Skeptics argue that the clearing's barrenness could be due to natural factors such as poor soil quality or underground geological activity. Some suggest that the electromagnetic disturbances could be linked to mineral deposits or variations in the Earth's magnetic field. While these explanations are plausible, they do little to account for the sheer number of strange occurrences reported over the years. The fact that nothing has ever managed to grow within the clearing, despite the thriving forest surrounding it, only deepens the mystery. To this day, Poiana Rotunda remains an enigma. Scientists, paranormal investigators, and UFO enthusiasts continue to study the clearing, searching for answers to its many mysteries. Whether the site is haunted, an energy vortex, or a UFO landing zone, one thing is certain: Poiana Rotunda is a place unlike any other, defying logic and inviting speculation with every passing year. The mysterious vanishing of Lori Jean Deepies. The disappearance of Lori Jean Deepies remains one of Wisconsin's most perplexing unsolved mysteries. On the night of August 19, 1992, Lori was last seen leaving the River Fox Mall in the town of Menasha, Wisconsin. What should have been a routine drive home turned into an enduring mystery that has left her loved ones searching for answers for over 3 decades. Lori was a 20-year-old woman with brown hair and green eyes, though she wore contact lenses that could have altered her eye color to brown. She was known for her distinctive tribal-style tattoo resembling a squid on her right ankle, along with multiple piercings in her ears. That night, she was dressed in a black sleeveless turtleneck, black and white spandex shorts, and black shoes. She accessorized with several silver necklaces, bracelets, anklets, and earrings, reflecting her personal style. Lori was a well-liked and responsible young woman with no known reason to disappear voluntarily. After leaving the mall, Lori drove to her boyfriend's apartment complex on West Wilson Avenue in Menasha, arriving between 10:15 and 10:30 in the evening. Inside the apartment, her boyfriend, his sister, and a friend waited for her arrival. They heard her car pull into the lot, expecting her to come inside at any moment. However, when minutes passed and she did not appear, concern began to grow. They stepped outside to check on her, only to find an unsettling scene. Lori's grey Volkswagen Rabbit was in the parking lot, locked and undisturbed. A styrofoam cup of soda was left sitting on the hood of the car, as though she had placed it there before heading towards the apartment, but Lori herself was nowhere to be found. There were no signs of a struggle at the scene. Her overnight bag and purse remained inside her locked car. This led authorities to believe that if Lori had left the parking lot willingly, it was likely with someone she knew. It seemed improbable that she had simply walked away voluntarily, as she was excited about plans with her boyfriend and had left behind all her belongings. Police entertained the theory that she may have been coerced or misled by someone familiar to her, making her case even more troubling. As the investigation unfolded, law enforcement conducted polygraph tests on Lori's close friends and her boyfriend, all of whom passed. Despite their cooperation, no significant leads emerged, and the case grew colder with each passing day. Investigators combed through phone records, financial statements, and social security records, but no trace of Lori was ever found. There had been no activity on her bank account, and no evidence suggested she had started a new life elsewhere. Over the years, numerous theories have surfaced about what could have happened to Lori. One unsettling theory is that she may have been the victim of an opportunistic individual who took advantage of the quiet apartment complex parking lot. Others have speculated that someone she trusted betrayed her, leading to her disappearance. Authorities have considered various persons of interest, but have never gathered enough evidence to make an arrest. In 2010, investigators received a possible lead when a convicted inmate named Larry Hall was suggested as a suspect. Hall had been linked to multiple disappearances of young women across the Midwest and was known for his obsession with taking and harming women. While some investigators believed he could be responsible for Lori's disappearance, no concrete evidence ever connected him to her case. Another chilling development came in 2017 when a man named Dennis Brantner, who had been convicted of another woman's case, was briefly considered a suspect in Lori's case. However, no credible evidence tied him to her disappearance either, and the case remained unsolved. Despite the years that have passed, Lori's family has never stopped searching for answers. Her disappearance continues to weigh heavily on those who knew and loved her. The pain of not knowing what happened to her has left an unfillable void in their lives. Foul play remains the most likely explanation, yet without physical evidence or witnesses, the case remains at a standstill. The lack of DNA, security footage, or even a confirmed direction in which she may have gone has made the investigation nearly impossible to solve. Lori's case serves as a haunting reminder of how quickly a person can vanish without a trace. With no confirmed sightings, no activity on her accounts, and no substantial breakthroughs, her story remains one of Wisconsin's most baffling unsolved disappearances. To this day, investigators continue to encourage anyone with information to come forward, hoping that even the smallest detail could break the case open. Lori Jean Depise remains missing, and her loved ones continue to search for justice, hoping that someday the mystery will be solved and they will finally get the closure they so desperately need. The mysterious time slip of Gil Perez. Gil Perez was an ordinary Spanish soldier stationed in the Philippines, serving as a member of the Filipino Guardia Civil during the 16th century. His life, however, took an astonishing turn on October 24, 1593, when he inexplicably found himself in Plaza Maya in Mexico City. The sudden and unexplainable journey covered nearly 9,000 nautical miles in an instant, leaving him bewildered and unable to provide any logical explanation for how he had arrived there. This strange event has been widely regarded as one of the most mysterious alleged cases of teleportation in recorded history. When the Mexican authorities encountered Perez, they were immediately suspicious of his claims. To them, it was inconceivable that a man could travel such an immense distance in a single moment. He was promptly arrested and accused of being a servant of Satan, as the supernatural nature of his appearance defied all known laws of nature. During his interrogation, Perez remained steadfast in his account, stating that just moments before his arrival in Mexico, he had been standing guard at the Palacio del Gobernador in Manila. He explained that he had been resting against a wall when, without warning, he suddenly found himself in a completely different country. At the time, Manila was in a state of political turmoil due to the assassination of Governor General Gomez Perez Dasmariñas by Chinese pirates. Perez claimed that he and his fellow guardsmen had been waiting for a new leader to be appointed following the unexpected killing. This statement initially did little to convince his captors, as they had no means of verifying the information. His sudden appearance and outlandish story were enough to brand him as a potential heretic or sorcerer, and he was imprisoned until further investigation could be conducted. The Mexicans remained highly skeptical of Perez's account until a Manila galleon arrived in Mexico 2 months later. The ship brought passengers who carried news from the Philippines, confirming that Governor General Dasmariñas had indeed been assassinated. Shockingly, one of the passengers even testified that he had seen Perez in Manila on October 23rd, just a day before he allegedly appeared in Mexico City. This astonishing revelation gave credibility to Perez's story and left authorities in Mexico with no choice but to release him. Despite their best efforts, no logical explanation for his sudden and inexplicable journey could be determined. With the truth of his story confirmed, Perez was eventually sent back to the Philippines. Unlike his sudden and mysterious journey to Mexico this time, he made the return trip by traditional means, traveling aboard a ship across the Pacific Ocean. Upon his arrival, he resumed his duties as a soldier and, by all accounts, lived an uneventful life thereafter. There are no further records of him experiencing any other supernatural events, nor did he seem to seek out any explanation for what had happened to him. The story of Gil Perez has intrigued historians, paranormal researchers, and skeptics for centuries. While some argue that it is nothing more than an old legend, others believe that his case presents compelling evidence of teleportation, time slips, or some other unknown phenomenon. Some researchers speculate that Perez may have experienced an extreme form of spontaneous astral projection, where his consciousness and physical body were inexplicably transported across the globe. Others consider the possibility that an undiscovered natural force, such as a wormhole or shift, may have been responsible for his sudden displacement. Skeptics, however, dismiss the tale as either an exaggerated rumor or an outright fabrication. They argue that historical records from the period lack sufficient documentation to confirm the event's authenticity. Furthermore, some suggest that Perez may have been a deserter who invented the story as an elaborate excuse for why he had been found so far from his post. Without definitive proof, the case remains shrouded in mystery, leaving it open to interpretation and speculation. Regardless of whether the story of Gil Perez is a true account of teleportation or merely a well-crafted legend, it has captivated people for centuries. It raises fascinating questions about the nature of reality, space, and time. If his story were proven true, it would challenge everything we understand about physics and human movement. To this day, the case remains one of the most puzzling and unexplained events in history, leaving many to wonder if there is more to our world than what we currently comprehend. The mystery of the Jetpack Man. The mysterious Jetpack Man has been an enigma in the aviation community since pilots first reported seeing an unidentified individual flying what appeared to be a jetpack near Los Angeles International Airport in 2020. The sightings, occurring multiple times over a 2-year span, have baffled experts and raised concerns about the safety and security of air travel. Despite investigations by authorities, the identity and nature of Jetpack Man remain unknown. The first reported sighting of Jetpack Man came in August 2020, when commercial airline pilots flying into Los Angeles International Airport reported an unknown flying object hovering at approximately 3,000 feet. The sighting was unusual, as modern jetpacks are not designed to reach such high altitudes or travel long distances. The presence of a jetpack at that altitude and location posed a serious concern for aviation safety, prompting the Federal Aviation Administration and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to launch an investigation. Over the next 2 years, several additional sightings occurred. On October 14, 2020, pilots from China Airlines reported seeing a similar flying figure at an even higher altitude of 6,000 feet. The mysterious figure was described as resembling a human in a flight suit, soaring through the skies with no clear sign of takeoff or landing. These reports added credibility to the initial sighting and fueled speculation that something unusual was happening in the Los Angeles airspace. The most significant breakthrough in the Jetpack Man mystery occurred on December 21, 2020, when a flight instructor from Sling Pilot Academy managed to capture a video of the airborne figure. The footage, taken near Palos Verdes and Catalina Island, appeared to show a humanoid object flying through the air. However, even with this visual evidence, the true identity of Jetpack Man remained unclear. Some experts suggested that the object in the video could be a drone made to resemble a person in a jetpack, rather than an actual human-operated device. One of the major difficulties in solving the mystery is the lack of supporting evidence. Jetpacks, while a real technology, have severe limitations in terms of fuel capacity and altitude range. Most commercially available jetpacks can only fly for a few minutes and at much lower altitudes than those reported in these sightings. Additionally, no witnesses ever reported seeing a takeoff or landing, which would be essential in determining the origins of the flying figure. Authorities, including the Federal Aviation Administration and the FBI, conducted extensive investigations into the sightings, but were unable to reach a definitive conclusion. Some experts theorized that the sightings were a result of high-altitude balloons or advanced drone technology. Drones have become increasingly sophisticated and are capable of reaching high altitudes while mimicking the appearance of a person in a jetpack. This explanation, however, does not fully satisfy all aspects of the case, as no drones matching the description of Jetpack Man have been recovered or identified. Another possibility is that the sightings were part of a secretive testing program, either by private inventors or military contractors. If someone had developed a highly advanced jetpack capable of sustained flight at high altitudes, it would be a groundbreaking technological achievement. However, such a device would likely require extensive testing and logistical support, making it difficult to keep completely hidden from authorities. Despite these theories, the true nature of Jetpack Man remains a mystery. After 2022, reports of sightings became less frequent, leading some to believe that the phenomenon had either been resolved quietly or that the individual responsible had ceased operations. Others believe that the sightings may continue, only with greater secrecy or under different conditions to avoid detection. The Jetpack Man sightings raise important questions about airspace security, technology advancements, and the potential for unidentified aerial phenomena. Whether it was an advanced drone, an experimental jetpack, or something else entirely, the fact that it went undetected by authorities for so long is a reminder of how much remains unknown in the field of aviation. Until concrete evidence emerges, Jetpack Man will remain one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries in modern aerospace history. Did ancient civilizations use sound technology? There has been much speculation about whether ancient civilizations used sound technology to accomplish various tasks. While there is no definitive evidence to suggest that this was the case, there are some intriguing clues that suggest that ancient people may have had a much greater understanding of sound and vibration than we previously thought. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence for the use of sound technology in ancient civilizations is the presence of various acoustic structures that have been discovered around the world. These structures, which include things like stone circles, megaliths, and pyramids, have been found to have remarkable acoustic properties that suggest they may have been designed for a specific purpose. For example, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt has been found to have a complex series of chambers and shafts that seem to have been designed to amplify sound. Similarly, the megaliths at Stonehenge in England have been found to have a variety of acoustic properties that suggest they may have been used for ritual purposes. In addition to these acoustic structures, there are also various legends and myths from ancient cultures that suggest that sound was used for a variety of purposes. For example, in Hindu mythology, the god Shiva is often depicted as playing a drum that is said to have the power to destroy the universe. Another interesting clue comes from the work of researchers like Dr. Hans Jenny, who discovered that certain sound frequencies can cause matter to vibrate and take on specific geometric shapes. This suggests that ancient people may have had an understanding of sound and vibration that allowed them to create complex geometric patterns in their art and architecture. While there is no definitive evidence to suggest that ancient civilizations used sound technology in the way that we use it today, there is certainly enough evidence to suggest that they had a much greater understanding of sound and vibration than we previously thought. As our understanding of the physics of sound continues to evolve, it is likely that we will discover even more clues about the role that sound played in ancient cultures. The manipulation of sound waves, a concept known as acoustic levitation, has fascinated researchers and scientists for decades. The ability to use sound vibrations to suspend and move objects without physical contact holds promise in various fields. Acoustic levitation relies on sound waves to create standing waves that exert forces on an object, countering the force of gravity. When sound waves intersect and interfere constructively, they produce regions of high pressure, known as antinodes, and regions of low pressure, known as nodes. An object placed at a node remains stable due to the balancing effect of the forces acting on it, effectively defying gravity and appearing suspended in mid-air. The ability to manipulate sound waves and control their interference patterns opens up possibilities for the non-contact handling and manipulation of objects, including potentially lifting heavy stones without the need for physical support or mechanical intervention. Acoustic levitation has been demonstrated with small objects like droplets of liquid, particles, and lightweight materials. However, the application of this principle to lift substantial stones presents significant challenges due to the factors involved. Lifting heavy stones with acoustic levitation would require considerable energy to generate powerful sound waves capable of counteracting the force of gravity. The energy demands might be prohibitively high for practical applications, making it inefficient compared to conventional lifting methods. The density, shape, and composition of the stones influence their interaction with sound waves. Large, dense stones may not respond effectively to the vibrations, limiting the practicality of acoustic levitation for lifting heavy materials. The stability of the levitated stones is crucial to prevent them from vibrating excessively or becoming uncontrollable. Ensuring consistent and stable levitation is a challenging engineering problem that requires precision in sound wave generation and control. The use of sound and acoustics played a significant role in ancient cultures, particularly in religious ceremonies, rituals, and architectural design. Archaeological evidence suggests that ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, Mayans, and others, had a deep understanding of acoustics and its effects on the human psyche. For instance, the use of resonant spaces and amphitheaters in ancient theaters, temples, and tombs showcased their knowledge of sound amplification and control. It is plausible that these insights into acoustics may have extended to the manipulation of heavy stones during construction. One of the theoretical methods ancient civilizations might have employed to move heavy stones is the concept of resonance and acoustic levitation. Resonance occurs when an object is subjected to a periodic force that matches its natural frequency, leading to amplified vibrations. If an external force could be applied through sound waves at the stone's resonant frequency, it could potentially enhance its movability. If ancient builders understood the principles of acoustic levitation, they might have used it to lift and transport heavy stones with minimal physical effort. Historical accounts and cultural myths of ancient civilizations suggest that they possessed a profound understanding of sound and its effects on matter. Ancient texts describe the use of sound instruments like the vimana, an ancient flying machine that generated sound waves for various purposes. Moreover, some ancient cultures believed in the power of chanting, mantras, and sound vibrations to invoke divine energies and influence physical objects. It is conceivable that such practices might have been applied to move heavy stones through focused sound energy. One of the main challenges in understanding ancient sound technology lies in the scarcity of direct evidence. The passage of time, natural decay, and the lack of comprehensive historical records have made it challenging to trace the exact methods and tools used by ancient civilizations. Moreover, ancient knowledge might have been transmitted orally or through symbolic representations, making it challenging to interpret accurately. It is possible that ancient sound technology, if it ever existed, has been lost over the millennia, leaving us with tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers. Whether or not ancient civilizations employed sound technology to move heavy stones, their construction achievements continue to captivate and inspire admiration. The mysteries surrounding these ancient wonders remind us of the boundless potential of human ingenuity and the enduring allure of exploring the secrets of our distant past. Stanley Meyer and his water-powered car. Stanley Meyer was an American inventor who claimed to have developed a car that could run entirely on water without the need for any other fuel. His invention, known as the water fuel cell, was said to use a process known as electrolysis to separate water molecules into their constituent parts, hydrogen and oxygen, which would then be used to power the car's engine. Meyer's claims were met with both excitement and skepticism. Stanley Allen Meyer, born on August 24, 1940, resided primarily in East Columbus, Ohio throughout his life. However, he relocated to Grandview Heights, where he completed his high school education. Despite being a religious individual, Maya possessed a strong passion for innovation. Following his graduation, he pursued a brief military career before briefly considering enrollment at Ohio State University. Stanley Maya, throughout his life, possessed numerous patents in various domains such as banking, oceanography, cardiac monitoring, and automobiles. Among all of Maya's patents, the one that garnered the most attention and sparked controversy was the invention of a water-powered car. During the 1960s, Maya created a patented device that had the capability to produce energy using water rather than relying on petroleum fuel. Maya gave this invention the name of fuel cell or water fuel cell. In the 1970s, following a significant increase in global crude oil prices, the cost of oil in the United States experienced a threefold surge. Consequently, the consumption of fuel became much more expensive, resulting in a complete plummeting of car sales. The US government faced immense pressure due to a reduction in oil supply from Saudi Arabia. As a result, numerous companies faced bankruptcy, and the American automotive industry suffered a substantial blow. Stanley Maya embarked on a mission to create a groundbreaking vehicle that would transform the American automotive industry. In his pursuit, he conceptualized a retrofitted automobile known as a fuel cell that had the capability to utilize water as a viable alternative to petroleum-based fuels such as petrol or gasoline. The objective behind this innovation was to reduce dependency on petroleum resources during an era marked by difficulties and challenges. If Stanley Maya's assertion held true, his innovative invention could potentially spark a paradigm shift in the American automotive sector, resulting in significant cost savings for the global economy. Furthermore, it would contribute to mitigating the risk of global warming by minimizing air pollution and introducing oxygen into the atmosphere. Maya subsequently developed a Crimson buggy, which served as the pioneering water-fueled vehicle. This groundbreaking hydrogen-powered automobile garnered significant attention as it toured various locations in the United States. The public's fascination with Maya's innovative invention was evident, even earning coverage in a local television news report. During the interview, Maya stated that his hydrogen-powered vehicle would require a mere 22 gallons, or 83 liters of water, to cover the distance between Los Angeles and New York. However, Stanley Maya passed away on March 20, 1998. While having a meal with two Belgian investors at a restaurant, Maya abruptly rushed out and uttered the words, "They poisoned me," before tragically losing his life. The Grove City Police Force conducted an inquiry in collaboration with the Franklin County Coroner's Office. According to the coroner's report, it was determined that Maya's passing was a result of a cerebral aneurysm caused by natural factors. It is worth noting that Maya had a previous medical history of high blood pressure. Maya's passing may not have seemed extraordinary at first glance, considering he was a 57-year-old businessman with a previous record of high blood pressure. Those interested in this case hold the belief that Maya had created something powerful enough to challenge the dominance of the oil industry and completely transform the world. Maya's alleged assassination was purportedly aimed at suppressing his inventions and preventing his fuel cell technology from becoming public knowledge. Consequently, potential suspects include the executive boards of prominent automobile manufacturers, oil companies, and possibly even government entities. There have been speculations that the two Belgian investors themselves may have been responsible for what happened. His supporters still firmly believe that he was taken out due to his technological advancements. However, it is important to note that all of Maya's patents have now expired, and his inventions are freely accessible to the public. Up until now, no engine or vehicle producer has integrated any of Maya's concepts. The mystery of the hole in the Sphinx's head. The Great Sphinx is a large limestone statue located in Giza, Egypt, and is believed to have been constructed during the reign of the pharaoh Khafra, around 2500 BC. While the Sphinx has been an enduring symbol of ancient Egypt for centuries, it remains shrouded in mystery, with many unanswered questions surrounding its construction and purpose. One of the most intriguing features of the Sphinx is the large hole in its head, which has puzzled researchers and enthusiasts for decades. Some have suggested that the hole was created intentionally as part of the Sphinx's design, while others believe it may have been the result of weathering or erosion over time. One theory suggests that the hole was used as a receptacle for a sacred object or relic, possibly a crystal or gemstone, that was used in ancient rituals or ceremonies. This theory is supported by the fact that similar holes have been found in other ancient Egyptian monuments, such as the Pyramid of Khafre and the Temple of Karnak. Another possibility is that the hole was used for astronomical observations, as it aligns perfectly with the constellation of Leo during the summer solstice. This alignment may have been used by ancient astronomers to mark the beginning of the agricultural season, or to track the movements of the stars. However, some researchers believe that the hole is simply the result of weathering and erosion over thousands of years. The Sphinx is located in a desert environment and is constantly exposed to the elements, including sandstorms and strong winds. Over time, these forces may have eroded the limestone and created the hole. Despite the numerous theories and speculations surrounding the hole in the Sphinx's head, no definitive answer has been found. The mystery surrounding this enigmatic statue continues to captivate researchers and enthusiasts and may never be fully solved. As of right now, although various photographs have been presented which shows a hole going directly into the head of the Sphinx, it remains a fascinating and puzzling aspect of this ancient monument. While there are numerous theories and speculations surrounding its purpose, the true answer may never be fully known. The Sphinx continues to stand as a testament to the ingenuity and skill of ancient Egyptian civilization and a reminder of the many mysteries that still remain unsolved. The traditional view is that the Sphinx was built by the pharaoh Khafre as a symbol of his divine authority and to protect his tomb. However, some scholars argue that the Sphinx may be much older than previously thought, with some even suggesting that it dates back to an earlier period known as the Early Dynastic period, around 3000 BCE. One of the main arguments used to support this theory is the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body, which many believe are the result of water erosion caused by heavy rainfall. However, the region around the Sphinx is known to be one of the driest in the world, and it is unclear how such heavy rainfall could have occurred. Some have suggested that the Sphinx may have been built during a much wetter period in ancient Egypt's history, which would push its age back by thousands of years. Another theory about the age of the Sphinx comes from the work of geologist Robert Schoch, who argued that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx are the result of long-term exposure to groundwater rather than rainfall. According to Schoch, the Sphinx may be much older than previously thought, dating back to a time when the region around Giza was covered in water, such as during the last ice age. Despite these theories, the traditional view that the Sphinx was built during the reign of Khafre remains the most widely accepted. The pharaoh is known to have commissioned a number of other large-scale building projects during his reign, including the second largest pyramid at Giza, which is located adjacent to the Sphinx. In addition, inscriptions found on the Sphinx's body link it to Khafre's reign. Overall, the age of the Sphinx remains a subject of debate and controversy, with some arguing that it is much older than previously thought, while others maintain that it was built during the reign of Khafre in the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt. As further archaeological research and discoveries are made, it is possible that our understanding of the Sphinx's age and significance may continue to evolve. Interestingly, while the origins and purpose of the Sphinx remain a mystery, there has been much speculation about the existence of underground tunnels and chambers beneath the monument. The idea of tunnels or chambers beneath the Sphinx is not new. In fact, it dates back to ancient times, with the Greek historian Herodotus writing about the existence of a secret chamber beneath the Sphinx in the 5th century BCE. In the early 20th century, French archaeologist Émile Barrès conducted extensive excavations around the Sphinx and claimed to have found evidence of a network of tunnels and chambers. In recent years, there have been renewed efforts to investigate the possibility of tunnels beneath the Sphinx. In 1991, American geologist Robert Schoch conducted a seismic survey of the Giza Plateau and claimed to have detected anomalies that could indicate the presence of hollow spaces beneath the Sphinx. In 2008, a team of archaeologists led by Zahi Hawass, former head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Egypt, conducted a series of non-invasive surveys of the Sphinx using ground-penetrating radar and other technologies. Their findings revealed a number of anomalies beneath the monument, including a possible cavity or chamber beneath the Sphinx's right paw. Despite these findings, there is still a great deal of debate among archaeologists and Egyptologists about the existence of tunnels beneath the Sphinx. Some argue that the anomalies detected by Schoch and Hawass are simply natural geological features, while others believe that there is still much to be discovered about the monument and its surrounding area. One of the main challenges to the theory of subterranean chambers beneath the Sphinx is the lack of concrete evidence. While there have been numerous surveys and investigations, no one has yet been able to definitively prove the existence of tunnels or chambers beneath the monument. Additionally, the Giza Plateau is known to have a complex system of underground water channels, which can sometimes create false readings on seismic and radar equipment. As of right now, the theory of tunnels and chambers beneath the Great Sphinx is a fascinating topic. While there is some evidence to support the idea, there is also a great deal of skepticism and debate within the archaeological community. Until more concrete evidence is uncovered, the mystery of the Sphinx and its potential subterranean passages will remain unresolved. What happened to the Rapa Nui civilization? The Rapa Nui civilization, also known as the Easter Island civilization, is one of the most fascinating mysteries of human history. The Rapa Nui people were the original inhabitants of Easter Island, a small island located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. This civilization flourished for centuries, leaving behind an incredible legacy of stone statues known as moai. However, the civilization suddenly collapsed, leaving behind only ruins and unanswered questions. The exact cause of the Rapa Nui collapse is unknown, but many theories have been proposed. One popular theory is that the Rapa Nui people deforested their island, leading to soil erosion and the extinction of many plant and animal species. The lack of resources ultimately led to a collapse of their society. Other theories suggest that the Rapa Nui people may have been victims of overpopulation, disease, or conflict with neighboring tribes. Regardless of the cause, the legacy of the civilization continues to fascinate people today. The moai, which are massive stone statues weighing up to 75 tons, continue to attract visitors from all over the world. The moai are a testament to the incredible skill and artistry of the Rapa Nui people, as well as their determination to leave a lasting legacy. In recent years, efforts have been made to better understand the Rapa Nui civilization and their legacy. Archaeologists and historians have worked to uncover new evidence and shed light on the mysteries of their society. Additionally, efforts have been made to preserve the moai and other cultural artifacts of the Rapa Nui people. As of right now, this civilization is a fascinating and mysterious part of human history. The collapse of their society remains a mystery, but their legacy lives on through the incredible moai statues that they left behind. The mystery of the Aboriginal fairy circles. Aboriginal fairy circles, also known as grass circles, are circular patterns of bare earth surrounded by rings of grass or vegetation, found predominantly in the grasslands of the Western Australian outback. These mysterious patterns have long been a source of fascination for researchers, and many theories have been put forward to explain their formation. The fairy circles range in size from a few centimeters to several meters in diameter, and they are evenly spaced, forming a pattern across the landscape. The circles are typically surrounded by a ring of tall grass, with the ground inside the circle appearing to be barren and devoid of any vegetation. The circles are often found in areas where the ground is hard and compacted, making it difficult for plants to take root. One of the most popular theories for the formation of fairy circles is that they are the result of termite activity. It is believed that termites create the circles by burrowing underground and feeding on the roots of the grass, causing the grass to die and leaving a circular patch of barren earth. However, this theory has been challenged by researchers who argue that the distribution of the circles is too regular to be the result of random termite activity. Another theory suggests that the circles are created by plants competing for limited resources such as water and nutrients. This theory proposes that the circles are created when plants release chemicals into the soil that inhibit the growth of other plants, creating a ring of barren earth around the plant. A more recent theory proposes that the fairy circles are the result of water movement and redistribution in the soil. According to this theory, water accumulates in the center of the circle, creating a wet zone that is conducive to plant growth. The roots of the plants growing in the wet zone then draw water away from the outer edge of the circle, creating a ring of dry earth. Despite the many theories put forward to explain the fairy circles, their true origin remains a mystery. Some researchers have suggested that the circles may have a cultural significance for Aboriginal communities in the region, and that they may have been used for ceremonial or spiritual purposes. As of right now, the Aboriginal fairy circles remain a fascinating and mysterious phenomenon that continues to intrigue researchers and the public alike. While several theories have been proposed to explain their formation, none have been definitively proven, leaving the true origin of these intriguing patterns a mystery. The mystery of the pirate utopia. The idea of a pirate utopia, a society where pirates could live freely and equally, has long captured the imagination of people. One such legendary pirate utopia is Libertalia, located on a small island off Madagascar. Though many details of the story are likely embellished or entirely fictional, the legend of Libertalia is still fascinating. According to the legend, Libertalia was founded by a French pirate named Captain Misson, who gathered a group of pirates and sailors who shared his ideals of freedom, democracy, and equality. Misson envisioned a society where everyone had an equal say and an equal share of the wealth. Women were also said to be treated equally in Libertalia, a highly unusual concept for the time. The pirate utopia of Libertalia was said to have been located on the island of Sainte Marie, off the east coast of Madagascar. The island was a popular spot for pirates in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, as it was well positioned for raiding passing ships. The pirates reportedly built a community with well-organized laws and a democratic government, where disputes were settled by a vote of the people. While the story of Libertalia may sound like a romantic pirate fantasy, there is some historical evidence to support its existence. The first known mention of the pirate utopia comes from the book A General History of the Pirates, by Captain Charles Johnson, published in 1724. However, many historians believe that the story is a work of fiction, or at best a highly embellished account of pirate life. Despite the lack of evidence, the story of Libertalia has continued to capture the public imagination. In recent years, there has been renewed interest in the legend, with books, articles, and even a video game exploring the idea of a pirate utopia. Some have even suggested that the story of Libertalia may have inspired real-life attempts at creating utopian societies, such as the 19th century Oneida community in New York. Supernatural large black cats. In recent years, reports of large black cats have begun to surface all across the United Kingdom. Some believe that the cats are supernatural, shadowy beasts that can appear and disappear in a moment's notice, whereas others believe that they're an invasive species growing across the United Kingdom that the government is purposefully trying to cover up for reasons not entirely known. Regardless of the cause of these rising witness reports, it appears that the sightings have remained largely consistent and are growing across the entirety of the United Kingdom. Many theories and myths have popped up surrounding the idea that a rich private collector could have been illegally importing the creatures that soon found themselves freed all throughout the region, a theory that would explain quite reasonably how the beast came to be and why it would be in the open rural areas where the creatures are commonly reported. Others believe that the large black cats sighted are direct descendants of the native wildcat species that was believed to have gone completely extinct in Britain more than 100 years ago, but is now making a comeback with rising populations. Hikers continue to report strange deer carcasses left inside trees that show evidence of a large predator across the region, with some hikers claiming to have encountered the panther-like species altogether, only to slowly back away and get to safety before it disappears once again, with no evidence of their encounters ever having taken place to begin with. The Nuka Dragon. The Nuka Dragon is a legendary creature said to have lived in Sussex, England. According to the legend, the dragon lived in a cave near a pond known as Nuka Hole, located in the village of Lyminster. The dragon would emerge from the cave and terrorize the surrounding area, attacking livestock and people. The story of the Nuka Dragon dates back to medieval times and has been passed down through generations by word of mouth. The earliest written record of the dragon comes from a poem by Richard Holland, written in the early 15th century. According to legend, the villagers were eventually able to slay the dragon by luring it out of its cave with a pig. They then attacked it with swords and spears, finally taking it out. The dragon's body was said to have been buried beneath a nearby mound, which came to be known as the Knucker's grave. The Knucker dragon is thought to have been a symbol of the struggle between Christianity and paganism, as well as the conflict between the Saxons and the invading Normans. Some historians believe that the story of the dragon was used by the Normans to demonize the Saxons and portray them as primitive and superstitious. Despite the passage of time, the legend of the Knucker dragon continues to be told in Sussex, and the dragon remains an important part of the area's folklore. In the town of Lancing, there is a pub called the Knucker Hole, which pays homage to the legendary creature. The area around Knucker Hole is also a popular destination for hikers and tourists interested in the story of the dragon. Overall, the story of the Knucker dragon is an example of how folklore can endure over centuries and become an important part of a region's cultural heritage. Nestled in the desolate landscape of Jordan and Syria, the Big Circles are a collection of 12 giant circular stone structures, leaving archaeologists and researchers baffled by their purpose and origin. These enigmatic archaeological wonders span across ancient civilizations and are believed to date back as far as 2500 BCE. The Big Circles, also known as the Big Circles of Jordan, were first discovered from the air in the 1920s during aerial surveys of the region. Their impressive size and distinctive circular shapes immediately captured the attention of researchers and sparked fascination about their origin and function. These mysterious structures are spread across parts of Jordan and Syria, with the majority located in Jordan's arid and sparsely inhabited desert regions. The Big Circles vary in size, with diameters ranging from approximately 200 to 400 meters. Constructed using large stones placed in circular formations, these monuments are characterized by their scale and precision, attesting to the remarkable engineering and architectural abilities of the ancient civilizations that built them. The origins of the Big Circles have been linked to prehistoric times, possibly dating as far back as the Bronze Age, around 2500 BCE. Theories suggest that they were built by various ancient cultures, including the early Bronze Age civilizations of the Levant, who inhabited the region during that time. The purpose of these structures remains a subject of speculation. Some researchers propose that they were used for astronomical observations or as calendrical markers, given their alignment with celestial events and solstices. Others suggest that they served as ritual sites, possibly linked to burial practices or religious ceremonies. The Big Circles are not isolated monuments, but rather part of a larger network of ancient cultural and architectural achievements in the region. The landscape is dotted with other intriguing structures, such as dolmens, cairns, and standing stones, further adding to the mysterious allure of the area. These ancient constructions reflect the cultural sophistication and spiritual beliefs of the early civilizations inhabiting the region. Their massive scale and precise alignments speak to the reverence these ancient cultures had for celestial events and their relationship with the cosmos. Deciphering the purpose and function of the Big Circles poses significant challenges for researchers. The lack of written records or inscriptions associated with these monuments makes it difficult to determine their exact significance to the ancient cultures that built them. Furthermore, the ancient civilizations that created the Big Circles have left little other evidence of their existence, making it challenging to place the monuments within a broader cultural context. Theories about their purpose remain speculative, and researchers continue to grapple with questions about the motivations behind their construction. The preservation of the Big Circles and their cultural heritage is of paramount importance. These ancient structures are vulnerable to erosion, vandalism, and encroaching development. The Jordanian government and archaeological institutions have taken steps to protect and conserve these archaeological wonders, recognizing their significance to the country's heritage. Educational initiatives and sustainable tourism practices have also been implemented to raise awareness about the cultural importance of the Big Circles and promote responsible visitation to these ancient sites. The enigmatic Big Circles of Jordan offer a captivating glimpse into the ancient past and the cultural legacy of the civilizations that once thrived in the region. These magnificent structures are a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the ancient architects who designed and constructed them. As our understanding of the ancient civilizations of the Levant deepens, the big circles stand as enigmatic reminders of a time long past, evoking curiosity and wonder about the cultural and historical mysteries that remain buried beneath the desert sands. Archaeologists and researchers continue to investigate these intriguing structures, seeking to unlock their secrets and gain insight into the ancient societies that created them. The Stone Spheres of Costa Rica. Nestled amidst the lush rainforests and pristine beaches of Costa Rica lie one of the world's most intriguing archaeological enigmas, the Stone Spheres. These perfectly carved, massive stone spheres, scattered across the country's southern region, have captivated archaeologists, researchers, and travelers alike. The Stone Spheres of Costa Rica first came to the attention of archaeologists in the 1930s, when the United Fruit Company cleared vast tracts of land for banana plantations. Workers stumbled upon these large, perfectly shaped stones hidden beneath the dense forest canopy. Initial excavation efforts revealed the impressive craftsmanship of these spheres, sparking interest in their origin and purpose. The stone spheres are concentrated in the Diquís Delta, located in Costa Rica's southern Pacific region, specifically in areas around Palmar Sur and Sierpe. They vary in size, ranging from a few centimeters to over 2 meters in diameter, and are made from a variety of rocks, including granodiorite and volcanic rock. The origins of the stone spheres have been linked to the pre-Columbian period, with most evidence pointing to their creation between 600 CE and 1600 CE by indigenous cultures. The exact purpose of these spheres remains a subject of speculation, as no written records or inscriptions have been found to provide definitive answers. Numerous theories have emerged over the years, suggesting that the stone spheres may have served as symbolic representations of celestial bodies, navigational aids, or markers for ceremonial sites. Their perfect spherical shapes and alignment with celestial events have led some to propose that they had astronomical and calendrical significance in ancient cultures. The stone spheres of Costa Rica exhibit remarkable engineering and artistic skill, especially considering the tools available to ancient artisans. The precision of their shape and alignment with celestial events suggest a sophisticated understanding of geometry and astronomy. To create these stone spheres, ancient craftsmen likely used stone tools, sand, and water to grind and shape the rocks into their desired forms. The sheer scale and precision of these spheres showcase the high level of craftsmanship and dedication invested in their creation. In recognition of their cultural significance and the need for preservation, the Stone Spheres of Costa Rica were designated as a United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization World Heritage Site in 2014. This recognition highlights their importance not only to Costa Rica's heritage, but also to humanity's understanding of ancient civilizations and their cultural achievements. Despite their status, the stone spheres face conservation challenges due to factors like urban development and vandalism. Rising sea levels and increasing rainfall can accelerate erosion and threaten the integrity of these ancient artifacts. Additionally, encroaching development poses a risk to the sphere's preservation, as some of these sites are near urban centers and tourist attractions. Efforts by the Costa Rican government and local communities are underway to protect and preserve these cultural treasures. Educational initiatives and sustainable tourism practices aim to raise awareness about the significance of the stone spheres and promote responsible visitation to these archaeological sites. Despite significant research and archaeological investigations, many questions about the stone spheres of Costa Rica remain unanswered. The lack of inscriptions or written records from the time of their creation poses challenges in deciphering their exact purpose and significance. Researchers continue to study the stone spheres using advanced scientific techniques, including 3D scanning and geochemical analysis, to gain further insights into their composition and origins. Interdisciplinary research and collaborations between archaeologists, astronomers, and indigenous communities offer hope for unraveling more of the mysteries surrounding these enigmatic artifacts. As of right now, the stone spheres of Costa Rica stand as silent witnesses to an ancient past, shrouded in mystery and imbued with cultural significance. Their presence in the lush rainforests of Costa Rica sparks curiosity and wonder, drawing visitors from around the world to witness their exquisite craftsmanship and enigmatic allure. As research and conservation efforts continue, these stone spheres offer a glimpse into the sophisticated knowledge and creativity of pre-Columbian cultures. While many questions about their purpose and significance remain unanswered, their designation as a World Heritage Site ensures that they will continue to be preserved and revered as a valuable part of Costa Rica's cultural heritage and a lasting symbol of our shared human history. Something interesting has just been captured by a local resident in Oregon. The individual who captured the object called 911 and said that they could see a large fireball in the sky, noting that they were worried that it might have been a plane that was having some difficulty. The images were then posted to social media, with various people putting forward their own theories for what it could have been. The 911 call revealed that the individual had taken pictures of the event, with Polk County Sheriff's Office soon arriving on the scene and taking their own photographs. Once officials in Oregon arrived on the scene, they reported that they started looking for a crash site. However, as the investigation continued, it's reported that the sheriff's office, along with locals in the area who turned up to help, couldn't find any evidence that something had crashed. Oddly enough, when investigators started to conduct further research, they reported that no plane was reported missing, but did note that there was a recent meteor shower in the area. The Polk County Sheriff's Office said the following: "That's what it was more likely attributed to, or what was seen. Although we're not 100% sure." End quote. The mysterious object was first seen at around 4:50 in the afternoon, but the sheriff's office said that their helicopter searches turned up nothing. The size of a meteor that NASA or any other space agency can detect depends on a variety of factors, such as the sensitivity of their detection instruments, the distance between the meteor and the Earth, and the speed and trajectory of the meteor. NASA has a program called the Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which is designed to detect, track, and characterize asteroids and comets that could potentially pose a threat to Earth. The program uses a combination of ground-based telescopes and space-based instruments to search for these objects. Generally, NASA and other space agencies can detect meteoroids as small as a few millimeters in size using ground-based telescopes, but they typically focus on detecting larger objects that could potentially pose a threat to Earth, such as those larger than 140 meters or 459 feet in diameter. However, it's worth noting that not all meteors are detected before they enter Earth's atmosphere. Small meteoroids can enter the atmosphere undetected and produce visible meteor trails, also known as shooting stars. These are usually harmless and pose no threat to Earth. Authorities further reported that after several investigations had taken place throughout the area, utilizing helicopters and people on the ground, there was no sign of the fireball, and also no impact site that would help them positively identify what the object was. The sheriff's office posted on its Facebook page and reached out to the public, saying that they did not know the exact location of where this happened. What's strange is that this isn't the first time that one of these strange fireballs has been witnessed in the sky. Oddly enough, other residents have said that while seeing these strange objects, they've also heard mysterious booms and questioned whether jets had been scrambled to investigate whatever these objects are. As many have reported, these strange fireballs have been seen above various countries, and in most of these cases, the strange objects have prompted police to investigate the sighting further. Many have said the same thing, suggesting that the fireball is an aeroplane that was in trouble, but some have disputed this, saying that although planes do fly over most of these regions, a lot of the time one didn't fly over at the specific time that the object was seen. As of right now, people are still speculating as to what these objects are and where they're coming from. The Central Intelligence Agency has recently declassified decades' worth of documents that looked into mysterious aircrafts. This caused excitement among amateur researchers, with them saying that those who've looked into these sightings have known about them for years. There's been approximately 2,700 documents that have been uploaded online, most of which detail the government's involvement with strange aircrafts. Those who've spent years researching this topic have said this is direct proof that the government is interested in this topic, and that it shows they've set aside large budgets to investigate what they are and how they're able to achieve what they do. However, although it seemed as though the Central Intelligence Agency was giving the general public an insight into some of their documents, Those who looked into the files were not impressed. Basically, people couldn't read these documents, and in some cases, all of the information had been blacked out. Many comments followed a similar theme, with online users saying what was the point in releasing these documents if you're going to cross out all of the information. The Sheffield Incident. Yorkshire in England isn't known for its abundance of mysterious aircrafts, but in 1997, on the 24th of March, local police received dozens of calls saying that some sort of aircraft had crashed in the region's lonely moors. The calls mentioned a low-flying plane or aircraft that had passed overhead towards the hills and mountains before disappearing. This was then followed by a bright flash and an explosion that could be heard for miles around. With reports of a crashed air vehicle, the police immediately began a search and rescue mission. A police helicopter, along with the fire service and mountain rescue, searched the area far and wide for any sign of the downed aircraft. Similarly, a local hospital was given notice of potential casualties. Soon after, Air Traffic Control and the Royal Air Force were sent news of the crash by police. Strangely, each of the organisations reported back that they had no missing aircrafts and that no military vehicles were currently flying in the area. This then led to the use of a Royal Air Force Sea King helicopter to assist the police in their search, and yet, after covering 40 square miles with dozens of professionals and high-grade equipment, nothing was found. In response to the lack of any kind of physical debris, the police launched a phone line for reports of a crash site. Almost immediately, the phone line was inundated with callers claiming to have seen military jets, as well as some kind of mysterious aircraft. With so many people reporting similar sightings, the police were forced to increase the scope of their previous search and enlisted even more members of mountain rescue. Similarly, the Royal Air Force cordoned a 10-mile air exclusion zone around Howden Reservoir. Despite these efforts, nothing was recovered, and the search was called off. Yorkshire police were left confused by the lack of evidence and were unsure of how to proceed. Some members of the public claimed the sighting was the cause of a phantom ghost plane. Later in 1997, a police representative said the following: "No explanation was ever found, and we remain open-minded about what was behind the sightings." End quote. In the years following, many theories have been posited in order to uncover what really happened over Sheffield that day. Some claim a cover-up had taken place by the military, who were in pursuit of a mysterious aircraft. The crash, as the theory goes, was caused by a military jet. Since the Royal Air Force exclusion zone was put around the Howden Reservoir, this has led some to believe that the plane crashed into the water, and bodies may have been retrieved during the search. Interestingly, the event was mentioned in the House of Commons on the 23rd of March in 1998. The then Ministry of Defence stated that there had been a low-flying military exercise taking place in that area on the 24th of March of the previous year. Scientists also support this, as the Seismology Department in Edinburgh confirmed that on the 24th of March, 2 sonic booms took place at 9:52 and 6 minutes past 10 in the evening. According to the department, these booms were likely to have been caused by an aircraft travelling at supersonic speeds or space debris burning up in the atmosphere. Still, the Royal Air Force refutes any involvement in the events described by onlookers, specifically because it was illegal to break the sound barrier over the United Kingdom. Likewise, they state that their exclusion zone was not out of the ordinary for routine search and rescue operations, and that they had no record of sonic booms by the Royal Air Force. The facts don't all seem to add up in this case, and the peculiar event that took place over the Yorkshire moors still perplexes many enthusiasts to this day. What exactly did crash near Sheffield in 1997? Many amateur researchers who've looked into this case have said that the Royal Air Force are unlikely to admit that they were involved in this strange event, and suggested that it was likely covered up by officials in the region. One user suggested that a mysterious aircraft was seen above the area, and so the Royal Air Force scrambled a couple of jets to investigate what the object was. This would explain the sonic booms that were heard in the evening. Investigations carried on and said that what most likely happened was a chase between the strange aircraft and the jets, but suggested that perhaps one of the jets malfunctioned and then crashed into the ground. Oddly enough, others who've looked into this case have said that pilots from across the world have reported the same thing, saying that when their jets get close to these objects, they start acting strange, noting that these aircrafts seem to have the ability to turn off the jet's electrics. This has caused some confusion in recent years, as the jets aren't being directly attacked but are having some of their major functions shut down. As of right now, there's several of these documents that go into detail about mysterious aircrafts. One question that people have when it comes to these events is, why don't governments just be open and honest with the general public? The answer to that question comes down to national security. They've openly admitted that these aircrafts are a national security threat, as they've been observed outmaneuvering their jets and also making their way into restricted airspace. This brings up a variety of different questions. How are they able to do this? How can they outmaneuver our most advanced jets? How do they achieve the speeds they've been observed doing? And ultimately, who do they belong to? As of right now, we can only speculate as to what these objects are, and hope that within the near future, the public will be told more about these mysterious aircrafts.